Uh, it's a pleasure to have been requested by an academy to speak about my journey. My name is Rupa, and my father's name is Divakar, my mother is Hemavati, and in South Karnataka, we used to have this tradition of keeping only the initials, and therefore my name is Rupa D, that's Rupa Divakar. I also hail from a small town called Davangere, which again starts with D. Davangere is in central Karnataka, and when I grew up, for most part of it, till I graduated, the town remained a taluka headquarter. So we really did not see any DC office or SP office, or never heard that DC or SP had come. We had never seen any big officer, district level officer, and therefore it's very interesting as to how from a small town those days, that too when yes, nowadays a lot of people from Karnataka write civil service exam, but those were the days when Karnataka people would often go for medical or engineering. Those were the only two careers of the choice of most people, and that is also because there are a lot of engineering and medical colleges in Karnataka compared to other states. Actually, it was my father who gave me this dream of writing civil service exam. It so happened that once, in when I was studying in class 3, my class teacher asked the whole class, "Children, what do you all want to become when you grow up? Don't tell me now, go home, discuss with your parents, come back and tell me tomorrow." So we all went home, we asked our parents. I first asked my mother. My mother is also a working woman, was a working woman. She was working as superintendent posts. When I asked her, she said, "Well, I want you to be a doctor." But somehow that didn't really interest me. And then I waited for my father to come home. And when he came, I asked him, "What should I be?" So he said, "Well, there's something called IAS, IPS, and it's a common exam conducted. And depending on your merit and depending on your choice, you get the services. So you be either one of them. Like if you become," then he explained to me, and I was 8 year old then. He explained what one becomes when one gets IAS. One becomes DC, which is also called as DM in many other states, and what does he do? And if one becomes IPS, what is the designation? The designation is called the SP, and he or she will be the head of the whole district, and so on. So this really interested me because I thought, well, this must be some kind of leadership role. It immediately appealed, and I remembered it. IAS, IPS. I even the acronym, I got it expanded, the abbreviation, and I went and told the class next day that I want to be an IAS or an IPS, and I was the only one who gave this answer. So the teacher made everybody applaud for me, and then this act, of the teacher making everybody applaud to my answer, that itself acted as reinforcement, because I thought, oh well, this must be really something big, because nobody has told this answer, and teacher has made everybody applaud. So this is how I think teachers can also motivate students from the beginning. It really has a big impact on children's minds. And we often think that, even as parents, even I am a parent now, when I talk to many other parents, when we ask them what your children want to do, have you told them, they keep saying, well, let's see what they want to become. It's their choice. Fine, it's their choice, but I think you have to give them something on the platter to start with. At least if you say, well, beta, you have to become this or that, then it somewhere starts as an acting point ki kuch to banna hai. They have to become something in life. If not this, something else, but they will start working towards it. Better is to give a perfect goal. If they like it, they take it and they work on it. Otherwise, give them something that, well, you become this. It will act as some starting point, some standard of reference, and it will have a big impact on them. After this, I deeply thought about it that I should become this only. And then Then I joined NCC, National Cadet Corps, in 8th standard. And in 9th standard, I got selected for attending Republic Day camp at Delhi, which is a very prestigious camp. And from Karnataka contingent, about 100 people got selected. Every year, about 100 people from every contingent go there. Of those 100, about 8 only were from high school girls. So I was among the 8 high school girls that were selected from whole of Karnataka. So you can imagine what was the competition level. And also it involved 5 to 6 layers of selection. So I attended this camp, and that was again a big turning point, because I was selected as the best cadet, and I had to give general knowledge exams, tests for that. That was an extra thing apart from a general cadet. So for a best cadet, one had to be good in everything, shooting, culturals, everything, and including the GK. So they had also given us certain books and magazines to prepare for the GK, general knowledge. One of those magazines was Competition Success Review, which used to carry interviews of toppers those days. Just like how I'm talking to you now, and an academy is doing the job of bringing out the interviews of various toppers. Those days, this magazine was there, and that was the first time I got a glimpse of what it is to be as an IAS or an IPS, and how this exam is all about. What are the subjects, how do you attempt them, etc. Because my father, of course, told me that I have to become an IAS or an IPS, basically a civil servant, but he never mentioned what are the subjects or how to approach and such things, because he really did not know it. And in the place where I was growing up, not many, or rather nobody in my vicinity knew about these services. So whom do I ask? So this was my first hand information. And then so that was in January month. Whole month was spent in Garrison Parade Ground tents in Delhi. So that was the time when I read all these magazines and interviews, and I decided, well, I'll take up psychology and sociology as my subjects, because I was interested in such topics. So I thought I'll choose these and write this exam. So after 10th, I came back from the Republic Day camp, then 9th exam over, 10th exam also over. 10th exam, I got very good marks. I got, in fact, 23rd rank for the whole state. Mine was state syllabus school, and for the state, I got 23rd rank. In spite of it, I chose arts for 11th. Many were shocked, because I had got 100% in maths and 98 in science. In spite of it, I chose arts, the humanities. And my own teachers said, well, why do you want to do this? If you study at the same rate, same way, you are definitely going to make it to medical or engineering. And as it is in Karnataka, whoever goes into, gets selected for these various prestigious camps through NCC, there is NCC quota for medical and engineering seats. So even that way, my path towards these entrance to these colleges would have been very easy. So everybody said that. In fact, my father also was like a little bit upset why I have chosen arts. But my mother supported me. I told both my parents, well, this is what I want to do. I do not want to be a doctor or an engineer. And when I'm totally not interested in these careers, what is the point in studying? So I somehow had this clarity, and greatly my mother supported me, and later my father also supported. And that's how I chose arts, and from then on, 11th, 12th and 3 years of graduation, I used to study extra from whatever was there in the syllabus, because I had asked my father to get me a syllabus copy of the whole civil service exam. So those days, I think S. Chand used to, publishers used to publish the syllabus. So that time itself, when I was in 11th, I had got a copy of that book. So I knew the syllabus. and I would compare what was there in college, and I would read extra. I would buy books and read extra. And I also simultaneously participated in almost all extracurricular activities like essay, quiz, speech competition, debate, and so on. So that gave me so much of base for the general studies subject that I didn't have to prepare exclusively for general studies while preparing for the civil service. So that base, the foundation was already there. And I used to participate in all these extracurriculars from my childhood, from class, in fact, from nursery. So, so this is how I wrote my degree. Then I got gold medal. I topped in all the 3 subjects in degree: English, psychology, and sociology. And then I came to Bangalore for doing post graduation in psychology, because I felt, because that was also a decision. You have to see what level of preparation is required when you choose a subject. And UPSC says it is graduation. Any graduate can write the exam. Though theoretically the syllabus is supposed to be that of a graduate, it's generally of a postgraduate syllabus. So it's a higher one. So since psychology was a bit technical, I thought joining a university will help me. And so I joined Bangalore University. And it was also, see, this is how you can make decision at every step, which is conducive to your goal. Now, I could have chosen any other university. In fact, many people recommended that Mysore University is very good for psychology. But my aim was not just psychology post-graduation. I also wanted to interact with the like minds who would take up this exam. So by that time, some people in Bangalore, there was one coaching institute also which would give coaching for civil service. So I felt I can find some people, 10-20 people, and I can exchange as to how they are preparing, and I'll get some ideas and so on. And so I chose to come to Bangalore. So I came here 2 years. I studied in psychology in university, stayed in the hostel, and wrote the exam simultaneously. Here I must tell you certain things. One is, when I was studying the BA, Bachelor of Arts, soon after 12th, all my classmates got very good placement. I mean, very good. They got good marks, and they got entry into in engineering and medical colleges. So while they were studying medicine and engineering, I was studying just humanities. And humanities does not give you immediate placement. While medicine or engineering, you are immediately set to become an engineer or a doctor, and you can earn immediately once you come out of the college. So I was feeling कि अरे इनका तो life set है, मेरा तो अभी भी नहीं है. And I was the topper always throughout, and generally they were those who were getting second or third, while I was always getting first. Not to brag, but that is the reality, because I was very studious in academics. And so these feelings were there. In spite of it, such feelings will come to you also. Like what you give exam once, twice. If you don't clear, you will always feel, what is this? There's so much uncertainty, whether I should give up or take up something else. Such uncertain feelings will always be there. They'll bog you down, but don't allow them to pin you down. Hold on to it. At the most difficult moment, you have to hold on, and not just brood about it. Take some action on it. Keep studying. Study harder. Because this exam is very, very difficult and the most competitive. And as the rules say, it is just a graduate what it takes to be a civil servant. So all kinds of graduates are going to apply, whether it is BA, BSc, BCom, BBA, BCA, B Pharma, medicine, BDS, engineering, architecture, so on. So you are competing with all kinds of people, and you don't know what their preparation level is. So you don't even know where you stand. At least when you're writing other exams, your competitors or your classmates are doing this well, that well. There'll be some tests where teachers will give you some percentage of marks. There is a set syllabus. In UPSC, though there is set syllabus, the questions can be really vast. It is it is like an ocean. So you have to be prepared, and for that there is no other go except doing hard work. Um, See, some people may tell you, well, I used to study only for 8 hours, 10 hours, maybe, but still, if you work for 16 to 18 hours during that particular 1 year or 2 years that you choose to write this exam, you're not going to lose anything. So put in that much of hard work. It is very much essential, um, because you don't know your competitor in which corner he is sitting. So uh, work hard for at least 1 year. And I used to work hard. I used to study up to even 20 hours when the mains exam came near. Of course, before prelims, I was studying up to 14-15 hours. But when mains exam came, I was studying up to 20 hours also at times. Wouldn't do anything, and you won't get sleep also those days. So you study and study, because I have always been of the opinion that even when you're a student or when you're writing this exam, you are a vidyarthi, which means vidya arthi. Arthi is one who begs, and vidya is knowledge. So you are begging knowledge. So you are a beggar of knowledge, and a beggar is supposed to be humble, submissive, and take in everything, being broad-minded. And your duty is only to slog and gain that knowledge. So those days, I think, I feel personally, one should not have any distraction, because if you get distracted and if you branch out here and there, or you lose out on something, or keep procrastinating, then life further becomes hell. So if you work hard, then your life is set, and rest of the life you can enjoy, celebrate. And that's been my motto. When I was a student, I always used to say to myself, well, if I work hard now, I don't have to work hard much later. So that actually came true to a great extent, because now the challenges are different, not those like that of a student. Now also there are difficulties, but there are different kind of difficulties or challenges. So I urge everyone to work hard, be focused, not get distracted. Well, I would also like to say that when you are growing up, or you might be having whoever is seeing this, if you are parents, then for your children, or if you have siblings, younger siblings who are still below 12th standard, you encourage them to participate in as much activity, extracurricular activity as possible, because that will make them very rounded, and they'll grow up to be very adept at everything. To say, I also participated in a competition called Miss Davangere competition, which brings a lot of smiles to many people when I mention that. Of course, the first few years of my career, I never mentioned this, because as it is, being an IPS officer, it's a male-dominated world, department, and on top of it, a woman, and that too, if I say that I participated in such and such a Miss Davangere kind of a competition, I was bound to be taken more lightly than I was, and hence I had never spoken about this for a long time. Of course, now that my image is set as a no-nonsense officer, which it is, I think now I don't have qualms in speaking about it. So even when I competed in this in this test called Miss Davangere, I'm happy that I did not get distracted. I just took it as any other competition. As it is, I used to participate in a lot of competitions, including culturals. So I took this as another competition, not as a stepping stone to modeling or film career and so on. And I'm glad that I could withstand this distraction that would come with participation in such competitions. And I'm glad that I didn't lose focus. What began as a dream in 3rd standard, when I was an 8-year-old, it continued and it bore fruits. So I'm very happy about it. I'm sure all of you will have this kind of satisfaction when you become something what you had aspired to become. So please work for it, don't get distracted, remain focused.